2025 by-elections. We want to thank all our united opposition teammates and supporters across the country who have shown up in big numbers for peaceful campaigns in these forthcoming November 27th, 25 by-elections. Kenyans are clearly hungry for change, and they see these by-elections as a chance to register their feelings about the current regime. That dissatisfaction is real, and the regime knows it. That is why they are trying every trick to frustrate the people's will ahead of tomorrow's vote. But Kenyans are alert and they are ready. From the mountain to the lake, from the ocean to Kisii, the message is the same, #Guantam. During these campaigns, we have sadly witnessed a series of desperate and well-coordinated attempts to subvert the will of the people. Number one, the heavy and intimidating deployment of police officers, many of them in plain clothes, accompanied by brutal attacks on opposition leaders and supporters. The intention is clear: to scare voters away from coming out in numbers they intend to tomorrow. We have seen this in Narok Town, in Malava, and in Mbeere North. Unmarked famous Subaru foresters have been roaming Chicago and Malava not to protect citizens, but to intimidate them. This is unacceptable in a democratic nation. Number two, the shameless bribery and manipulation of voters by senior state officers, including MPs, MCAs, chiefs, PSAs, CSAs, speakers of both houses of parliament, as well as county assemblies, the prime cabinet secretary, the deputy president, and the president himself, all misusing state machinery, including government vehicles, relief food and non-food items like mattresses and blankets meant for disaster victims, and even letters of appointment to Kenyan embassies issued in public barazas. I think we have all seen this. This is a misuse of public trust and public resources. Call it plainly abuse of office by this current regime. Number three, we have credible information that the serialization of 820 printed ballots, that's very important, 820,000 printed ballots was not done correctly and not properly inspected. This has created a dangerous loophole for ballot stuffing through extra or unaccounted for ballots. We are further aware that 30,000 pre-marked ballots have already been dispatched to the targeted battleground areas of Magarini, Malava, and Mbeere North through compromised presiding officers. This strikes at the heart of electoral integrity. Fourth, we have seen extended and illegal campaigns conducted by regime agents well beyond the official campaign period, escorted by police officers and accompanied by hired goons. This is a deliberate attempt to tilt the playing field and subvert the will of the people. Number five, violence is being prepared and deployed as a tool to cripple these by-elections. There is a well-coordinated scheme involving sections of the police, hired goons, and compromised IEBC officials. In Malava, for example, hired goons reportedly under the command of Lugari MP Nabi Nabwera are expected to spark violence using pangas and rungus and other crude weapons. They are to be protected by police, including a special team which has already been dispatched from Nairobi and we are monitoring their movements, the infamous Subaru unit. Once voting is disrupted, compromised IEBC ballots, compromised IEBC officers and clerks are expected to use that chaos to stuff ballots. We saw this pattern during the Gen Z protests, where police did not stop goons, but actually enabled them. We have again seen police in Narok and Kabuchai captured on camera, moving goons and distributing funds. This is a betrayal of the oath to protect. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, as we stated on November 20th, there is a deliberate plan to misuse mobile phones in polling stations in ways that violate the secrecy of the ballot. The response from IEBC has been weak and insufficient, with the junior officer Magarini giving a half-hearted explanation to an issue that demands the full attention of the chairperson and indeed the entire commission. Their silence deepens our concern about the integrity of this institution at this critical moment. The IEBC, by failing to address the genuine concerns raised by the opposition and the media, and by neglecting to put in place the necessary remedial measures, continues to cast a long shadow over its own independence. This new commission now stands accused, not by us alone, but by its actions of presiding over a process whose credibility grows more questionable by the day. A democratic, free and fair election cannot be built on silence, on evasion or selective action. It must be anchored on justice. We therefore demand that the IEBC rises to the moment and A, confronts and overcomes the challenges facing this by-election. This is the first true test of the new commission. They must either overcome these challenges or be overcome by them, squandering the little trust Kenyans still hold. The commission must assure all Kenyans that it is not entangled with broad-based masters. B, to our supporters across the country, come out in large numbers and vote for all united opposition candidates. Remain peaceful, but also remain vigilant. Document every irregularity and promptly report every form of electoral malpractice witnessed in your constituencies or in your wards. To our agents, you have been prepared for this day. Confirm that all ballot boxes are empty before voting begins. And check even any possibility of open windows where things could have been brought in and sneaked in. Do not abandon your stations until polling is fully concluded. Report every incident, from attempted inducements to photo taking inside booths to any form of voter harassment by police in uniform or in plain clothes. To the media, election observers and civil society organizations, please maintain maximum vigilance at all polling stations. Shine the light where others attempt to hide the truth. Expose every malpractice. This is what is expected of us as citizens of this country, that we have to dig in for democracy. E, the desperation of this regime is obvious to all. They are hanging by a thread. The writing is on the wall. The die is indeed cast. No amount of public money, no deployment of police, bullets or tear gas, and no intimidation of opposition leaders and supporters will succeed in silencing the will of the people. And to the broad-based operators clinging to their last straws, let it be known the people have already spoken. At this defining moment, we urge Kenyans to stand firm, stand peaceful, and stand together. Let us prove once again that no force, however desperate, can overcome a united and a determined people. The will of Kenyans is sacred. It cannot be bought, it cannot be bullied, or indeed it can never be broken. Tomorrow, let us vote with courage, guide the vote with vigilance, and move forward with faith, knowing that the truth may be delayed, but it cannot surely be denied. May God bless Kenya and all of us. My colleagues may want to add, but to do that aspect I talked about, the 820,000 ballots already printed. They were printed out in Greece, and the policy for by-elections has always been, you print locally. The Kenya Literature Bureau, for example, has been in that business. And it is also important to know that no certificate, and we want IEBC to prove us wrong, no certificate of inspection and receipt has been received. So we are aware that this has been a quiet thing. And as we speak, Mr. Marijan is on the ground in Bere to try to make sure that what he's already been planning, as we said the other day when my colleagues were out on the field, last Thursday in particular, we did point out that Marijan is under instructions of the former commissioner, Professor Guli, who is William Ruto's political advisor on matters to do with IEBC. So IEBC, you are clearly on notice. So please, when the agents are there and the names are read out, I'll give an example. Any vote Yakaris in Bere North, if the clerks read Karis, please agents demand to see the marked ballots. And at the end of it, before the presiding officer presses the send button, please ensure that the numbers that have been now kind of identified and announced, yeah, are also the same figure that will get now transmitted by the send button. We are saying this because we are aware in the case of Mbeere North, 15,000 ballots have already been particularly voted. They have already marked them. And so the idea is that they are going to make them, they all be met now at the constituency tallying center. And therefore, because of the lack of serialization, which you have talked about, yeah, anybody can mark and serialize everything. So we are pretty aware, and I must thank Kenyans. Kenyans are very, very smart. That's why my brother said they cannot